chapter 6. John chapter 6. I'm going to read verses 22 through 27, but we may touch some other elements and parts within chapter 6. And actually, before we enter into chapter 6, I want to give you a little backdrop, if you would. And we find ourselves in the book of John, the Gospel of John. And in chapter 2 begins to speak about the signs that are occurring in Jesus' ministry. Amen. And so the first sign that we see is turning water into wine. And we see that in chapter number 2. And that's the first sign. Somebody say the first sign. And then we see the second sign, if you will, is healing the son of the royal official. So he heals his son, and we'll find that in chapter 4. Then we move along to the third sign, which is in chapter 5, and is healing the paralyzed man at the pool of Bethesda. All right? And that's the fourth sign. Somebody say the fourth sign. Right in this chapter, we find ourselves at the beginning of chapter 6, where he's done something miraculous. He's took 2 fish and 5 loaves and fed 5,000. Yeah, so somebody say the fifth sign. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Let me go back. So the first sign was the walking on water. The second sign, the healing of the royal son. The third sign, the healing of the paralyzed man. The fourth sign, my fault. The fourth sign was the feeding of the 5,000. And the fifth sign was walking on water. Walking on water. And so there's been a group of people that were at the marriage that saw the first sign. There was a group of people that heard about the royal officers, the royal official's son being healed. And there were some people that were sitting by the pool of Bethesda when that man got healed. And I think there was some people, at least some people, I don't know how many, say somewhere around 5,000, but somewhere around 5,000 people had just been fed out of a little boy's lunch. And then we know the disciples were present to see him walking on the water. And that's where we find ourselves at verse number 22. And it says this, on the following day, somebody say the following day. On the following day, when the people who were standing on the other side of the sea saw that there was no boat there except that one which his disciples had entered, and that Jesus had not entered the boat with his disciples, but his disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats, verse 23, other boats came, therefore saw that However, other boats came from Tiberias, near the place where they ate bread. Let me say that again, near the place where they ate bread. One more time. You know that means that I'm going to bring it back up again. Near the place where they ate bread. After the Lord had given thanks, give us this day our daily bread, When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they also got into the boats and came into Capernaum, seeking Jesus, so they said. Verse 25 says this, and when they found him on the other side of the sea, you got to understand this, that these people were on one side of the sea, and they said, we're going to go all the way to the other side because that's where he is. So this will give us the depiction that these people are really trying to follow Jesus. If you'll follow him, you'll get in the boat. You was like, if he got in the boat, I'm getting in the boat. If we was on the west side, now he's on the east side. That's actually in the text, by the way. But he was on the west side, now we on the east side. So we're going to go to the east side. Deluxe apartment in Scott, never mind. But so we're going to go to the east side, and we're going to see what Jesus is doing on the east side. So we're going to follow him when he gets to Capernaum. Verse 24, I've said this, and when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, when did you come here? When did you come here? Jesus answered them and said, most assuredly, I say to you, you seek me, not because you saw the signs. You didn't follow me because you saw the signs, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. Your message entitlement for this morning is the following reasons. Take your seats. The following reasons. Firstly, and this may come at a different angle for some of you. Firstly, you got to cancel the catering services. Oh, God, help me here. I said you got to cancel the catering services. Catering by the way of pandering to the whim of the temperamental. You know, temperamental people can't really be satisfied. They moody. Y'all know I talked about moody. I've been talking about moody all year, all this year. You got moody people. You don't know. You can't satisfy a moody person. Because when you meet this objective, they got another objective. And when you meet that objective, they got another objective. And when you meet the other objective, they give you yet something else. Because temperamental people can't be satisfied. They won't be. They're insatiable in a way. Text says the people ask Rabbi, when did you get here? When did you come here? Understand, some folks follow for the sole purpose of being fed, but not being faithful. Oh my God. Oh, I'm talking to somebody in the audience right now, because there was once upon a time, I won't call no names, but as soon as I lay it out, she'll know exactly who I'm talking about. There was once upon a time when food used to be prepared every holiday. Every time you open up the house, it was a holiday, and they would open up their house, and they had plenty food. So much food that you can even get that tinfoil out. Come on, y'all know what I'm talking about. If they didn't have none at the house, somebody made a run to the store. They wouldn't pick up no more food, but they'll pick up that aluminum foil. Hello, somebody. They'll make sure that they're going to take, come on now, y'all know what I'm talking about. And so they'll go in there and they make sure that not only do they eat their fill, but they want leftovers too. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Everybody got their relative that know that you done ate plenty of food, and you know, you're going to come up in there with your styrofoam plate. Ain't no styrofoam plates nowhere in the house, but somehow they got some. Like, how'd you got the cover plates? How'd that happen? And the aluminum foil, so, you know, you got them kind of foils. So people will always come around when you feed them. And not just food, but anything. If you feed them compliments, oh, they'll come to you looking. You give them a lot of compliments, they'll come up to you. You know, I did this lately. Come on. Come on. You know you want to. If you are right, just fishing. If you give them anything, you know, you give them a little tail. I'm sorry, yeah, I said it. You give them a little something, you know. You know, they always, as long as you're giving, they're going to be, hey, how you doing? Sure looking good. So as long as you feed, people will follow. But they'll never be faithful just because you feed them. That's text. I'm not trying to come into your bedroom or whatever y'all be saying. Pastor, you was all up in my bedroom. No, I was not. I'm married. I was with my wife and my child. I got 2 witnesses. Let the church say amen. No, I was not. Listen at this, Lord have mercy, because we talk about this a little bit, but I did a little bit of a deeper study. Leeches and parasites. Leeches and parasites, and I found out about 2 different types of parasites. You got ectoparasites, and those are the parasites that sit on you. Those are ectoparasites, and then you got endoparasites, and the endoparasites are the one that get in you. And the interesting things about leeches and parasites that they're bloodsuckers. Yeah, see, they're bloodsuckers, and what they'll do is they will come here, Marcel, real quick. What will happen to these leeches and these parasites is that they will attach themselves to you. He looked like a good host, you know what I mean? So he looks like a friendly host. Let me attach myself to his talent. Oh, I hope the church is hearing me. Let me attach myself to his talent. Let me attach myself to his anointing. Let me attach myself to his connections. Let me attach myself to who he is. Let me attach myself to who I think he is. Let me attach myself. I don't ever really want to be in relationship with him. I just want to feed off him. They call them moochers. They call them hangers on, and they're hanging on. I'm representing right now an ectoparasite, the one that just hang on you. And see, here's the thing, go wherever you want to go. Go wherever you want to go. This is what parasites do. Go wherever you want to go. Go wherever he goes, here's the parasite. You get what I'm saying? Wherever you go, the parasite will go. So structurally, y'all hear me by the Spirit, structurally, the parasite will change its way of life to yours. It will go wherever you go. It will actually eat whatever you eat, but it's feeding on you. Bloodsuckers. I got a public service announcement. Y'all hear me because I got to put the disclaimers out there. I'm trying to stay sucker free. You understand what I'm telling you? I got to put some parameters on this thing. I'm trying to live sucker free. You hear what I'm saying? The season says, like, you be careful now. But I got to get rid of it. The text says this, in the spirit, hear me by the Spirit. In the Spirit, these people come near to me. It says in Isaiah chapter 29, verse 13, that these people come near to me with their mouth. You know, the bloodsuckers. They come near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They're far from me. They have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. So just because somebody has a form of godliness does not mean that they are a truthful parishioner. It might mean that they're an actual parasite. Just because they're on the body doesn't mean they're in the body. And just because they're in the body doesn't mean they're in the... Never mind. You know the synagogue of Satan sits right up at... Never mind. That's Bible. That's Bible. It is. Legions and parasites. Lord have mercy. Natural proximity is not spiritual intimacy. Post that. You hear me? Let me say it again. Y'all delayed today. Come on, that's all right. Y'all gonna get with me. Natural proximity is not spiritual intimacy. Just because you're close to somebody doesn't mean that there's actually any intimacy there. You can be hugged up right next to them. Just because y'all have had intercourse doesn't mean that y'all are intimate. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So proximity does not determine intimacy. I hope y'all hear me spiritually and naturally, because everybody hanging on to you don't actually want you. They just want what you got. Because truth be told, they would die without you. I'll just die. That's why it ain't healthy. I'm sorry. Let me give a little relationship tip right here. Some of y'all gonna think I'm tripping, but I'm sorry. Yes, I can live without you. Absolutely, I can. Why? Why? Because if I can't, then that's unhealthy for me. I don't want to. But I have to. I hope that you can too. Because if I'm gonna die, come on now. The only person I can't live without is who? And truth be told, oh Lord help me, I can't live without him too. I just can't live without him. So I can live without you, but I can't live without you. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking to the church. I'm talking to y'all. I can live without you, but I can't live without you because it's a relationship thing. You hear what I'm saying to you? Can't do it. Can't do it. So here the thing is, right? Y'all hear me? So natural proximity is not spiritual intimacy. Next point I want to make to you is take communion over consumption. Take communion overconsumption. Get this. This made me chuckle a little bit. Don't follow the money, follow the bread. That's good. Come over here with me. I said, don't follow the money, follow the bread. Never mind. It'll get in there. Furthermore, true followers of Christ, because when we talk about communion and we start thinking about the Last Supper, right? We start thinking about come over here where the table is spread. My brother's like, stop right now before you hurt somebody. But you come to the table and you come to take communion. You come to take communion and you sit down at the table. And I want to paint a picture for you, because when you come to a restaurant, you come to an establishment, right? You go to an establishment and you expect to be catered to. Oh, I'm talking to the church. Y'all just got to hear me. You come to an establishment and you expect to be catered to, don't you? Don't you? Sometimes we treat the church the same way. We come to the church and expect God to cater to us. Cater to me, God. Set the table for me. Bring my drink. Bring my food. Take my plate away. Cater to me. I don't want to do nothing because I came here. I showed up, didn't I, God? Huh? I came here, didn't I? Cater to me now. Right? Now, I don't want to serve you. I want you to serve me. Come on. So we come to an establishment to be catered to, and when we come to an establishment and we sit there, there should be something different about when we sit at the table with the Master and the Savior. When we sit at the table with the Master and the Savior, we shouldn't want to leave the establishment just because supper's over. Oh, Lord. let me say that again. I said we shouldn't want to leave the table just because supper is over, because let me tell you about people who leave the establishment when supper's over. We call them Judas. The only one that left the establishment was Judas. Everybody else stayed with the establishment after he got up from the table. Y'all got to hear me by the Spirit. After he got up from the table, they went where the establishment was. Some of us come to the establishment as soon as the food's over. I got my fill. I can go do my dirt now. Don't come to church and get your fill and then go back outside and do your, never mind. Do not leave church and collect 30 pieces of silver. Never mind. Monopoly. Anyway. Don't do it. Say, don't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, God is not taking orders. He is the provider of order, and we should follow it. Right? And this is a side note. Take caution and be careful when people seek. God, help me here. Be careful when people seek your production over your purpose. Post that. I say be careful. Be careful when people seek your production over your purpose, because some people only want what you can produce instead of what your purpose is. Jesus had to rebuke Peter when Peter only came for his production, not his purpose. He said, no, you can't die. You don't understand my purpose. I must die. You're only interested, he tells him in the text, he said, you're only interested on the level of man. I'm paraphrasing, but y'all hear what I'm saying? He said, you're only interested with man's interest, human interest. That's all that you got your mindset to. You just want me to be here to keep teaching you and keep doing that. No, I got purpose on my life. I came to die, to rise, to ascend, to release. That's what I came for. And I'm at the precipice of my purpose, and you want to tell me no. Lord, help me here. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Be careful when people seek your production over your purpose. Addition to that, don't be afraid to clear the table. You ever been to a restaurant? Y'all know I like to talk real life stuff. You ever been to a restaurant and it's closing time? You know it's about 15 minutes over closing time. They won't tell you to leave, but they'll make you real uncomfortable. You know, I miss a bishop because sometimes he used to do this back in the day. Bishop, the bishop, but he want to act like somebody deacon. You know, just start turning off all the lights. Not the lights so you can't see your way out the building, but just the other lights, the stage lights, whoop. Side lights, whoop. All you see is that one light that leads you out. You can't see the edges. Y'all know them deacons. Some of y'all been in church long enough, like, oh, see, the pastor left me the keys today. Y'all got to go home from out of here. I don't know. Y'all can stand outside in that hot sun all you want to, but I'm gonna lock up this here church. So don't be afraid to clear the table in your life. Just start moving stuff. Oh no, you done ate enough now. That's good. All right now, baby. Oh, okay. Okay, start turning tables upside down. You know, when Jesus wanted people to leave his house, that's what he did. When the tables turn, oh my. I'm going to make y'all real uncomfortable. Y'all going to stop collecting currency in the house of God. You're going to stop raising personal interest in the house of God. See, the problem is the people were charging the people for the offerings, and they were taxing the people. And that's what some leaders do. They start taxing people. They say, for you to give, let me get off that. They start taxing the people, and the guy was like, not so. Not in my house. And he started turning tables over to make them uncomfortable. And, and then he started wrapping up the cord. Actually, he started braiding the cord, because he didn't want to do it in his anger. So he started talking to him. Probably, y'all give me a little liberty. Started talking to himself, boy, if these people don't get up out of my father's house right now, y'all got 3, 2, well, get out! Go on now! I don't know if you actually talk like that, but We got to break the consumer addiction. We got to break the consumer addiction. Listen real good. Temporal desires cannot be satisfied. Appetites of gratification are always looking for the next new, hear me by the Spirit, portion. He said, I come to give you life that you may have it more. I came to give you life eternal, and you're looking for portions. He said, I am the eternal God, and you come looking for portions. You come looking, saying, God, could you pay my light bill? But you are not neither salt nor light. Y'all ain't hear what I just said. You're saying, God, pay my light bill. Some of y'all think I'm in your business. I'm talking spiritually. God, pay my light bill. Could you pay my light bill? But you are neither salt nor light. And so we come to God looking for temporal things. Not that you can't pray for God to make a way out of no way. I'm not talking about that. But some of us only come to him for the temporal things, but not for what he is. He's the eternal God. He said, I came that you may have life and that you may have it more abundant. And it's not just about being here, because let me tell you something that I like to tell people all the time. All the rewards that you've been seeking, they're not going to be here on this earth. Hello, somebody. Tell me John the Baptist's reward. Tell me his reward. Tell me his earthly reward. He got to baptize Jesus and then he was beheaded. Tell me Stephen, who has no formal title, is stoned to death praying for other folks. There's only one other man that did that, Jesus. What was his earthly reward? So we go chasing stuff and not chasing the Savior. We go chasing blessings instead of the blesser. Nothing's wrong with the blessing until you displace it. Do you understand? How could God free you from bondage in 40 days after you don't see your leader? You already building idols. I ain't talking about you, I'm talking about Israel. 40 days. The same span of time that they used to mourn over the god Apis. You know, that bull. Oh, sorry. The golden calf. The saint, go look it up. Google it. 40 days, the same morning time that they mourned over the false god, was the same amount of time they started to build their new God. Because, see, they wasn't really listening for God. They had put Moses in God's position. That's why they didn't want to talk to him. They said, we don't want to talk to God. We want to deal with you. We don't actually want to deal with God, because if we actually have to deal with God, see, we just want to be leeches. We don't want to become part of the body. And you don't be careful, people will do the same thing to you. They'll latch on, but give them 40 days. Give them 40 days. I'm telling y'all right now, some of y'all need to put a 40-day notice on some of these leeches in your life. You got 40 days. You got 40 days. And some of y'all like, nope, I'm doing this thing right now. You got 4 seconds. Because once you recognize the leech, you don't sit there and be like, hey, little baby, you hang on in there now. Come on, you hang on in there, baby. Let me talk. And this is what we do to some of the leeches in our life. We try and encourage the parasites. God help me here. I just said some of us are trying to encourage the parasites. Eat on, little baby. Take all my money. Take all my happiness. Take all my joy. Take all my praise. I can't pray no more. I can't fast no more. I can't speak in tongues no more. Just keep on eating. I'm weak in my body. I can't even leave church. You ain't got no sickness. You got a parrot. Never mind. Oh, Lord, help me here. We got to break this consumer addiction thing. That's what the leeches have. They have consumer addiction. Never mind. Now, let me keep moving. They got consumer addiction. They're always looking for their next new portion. And there should be no believer of God that is looking for the next new portion. He says, I go to prepare a place for you. That place has no boundaries. It does not have a time boundary. That's why it is called eternity. How can we serve an eternal God and keep looking for temporal proportions? Don't take no proportion unless it's biblical. Never mind. Are you hearing me? Y'all with me? Christ, let me read this. The Master says, most assuredly, I say to you, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. Christ did not come to tickle taste buds or to appease carnal palates. Are you hearing me so far, church? Know this also. Christ did not come to concoct a consumer culture, but rather to conduct a consummate covenant. I'll say that again. Christ did not come to concoct a consumer culture, but rather to conduct a consummate covenant. Somebody say, look for the seal. You know there's certain brands out there that they'll tell you, if you're looking for our brand, do what? Look for the seal. If you want to eat this kind of bread, you want to eat this kind of meat, you want to eat this kind of whatever, this kind of vegetable, whatever it is, what they tell you, look for the seal. Because you shop by brand. Never mind. Come on now. Even if you're on a budget, you still shop on brand, don't you? Because if you're on budget, you start learning the budget brands. Some of y'all like, I don't look for brands. Oh, I bet you do. Whether it's high end or on the bottom shelf. If you're a bottom shelf shopper, that's where you shop at. And I'm not messing with nobody. That's where you got to get. But we brand shop. We look for the label. We look for the seal. But the text is telling us to look for the seal and not the meal. Anything within an expiration date is disposable. Oh, Lord, have mercy. I said anything. I know that seems rather simple, but if you think about it, it'll sit in your spirit real nice. I said that anything with an expiration date is disposable. See, you and I that are sons of the Most High God, we actually don't have expiration dates. Your body does, but you don't. Oh, somebody ought to give God glory right there. I say, yeah, this body does, but I don't. Oh, come on. Do you believe that you're predestined or not, church? If you believe that you're predestined, that means that, yes, this body is, we might all not sleep, but we will all be what? Changed. So this body that I'm in, this body, the same one that give me these aches, these pains, I'm not going to be in this body when he called me. Oh, come on. Somebody give God glory right there. I don't know if I would want to go to heaven in pain. You hear what I'm saying? I don't know. But I know that ain't what he said, so I ain't got to worry about it. He said, you won't even cry no more. Hello, somebody? No more sickness, no more death. None of that. None of the stress of death. The stress of death. Every time somebody passes, it's stressful for who's left. The more that you realize that you are somebody who is not going to live forever. You know, when you was young and y'all looking at me like, boy, you just like got out of high school yesterday. That's not true. But, you know, I know I'm young, but the older you get and the more mature you get, you start realizing that you're running on borrowed time. You start worrying, so time becomes precious to you, which is why the more mature you get, not just how old you get, but the more mature you get, you stop letting people waste your time. And that's when you start canceling parasites, because I ain't letting nobody eat off me because I only got so much time left. You know? I'm not afraid of death, but I'm aware of it. Do you hear what I'm saying? So I'm trying to live in purpose and on purpose, not with parasites. Hello, somebody. You know, sucker free. Yeah. That's how I'm trying to live. I ain't going to say that no more because I won't throw nobody else off. But y'all get what I'm saying? So the text says here, the master says, do not labor for food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life. So he's telling you, you got to change your appetite. You got to change your diet. You got to stop looking. I'm talking about in the spirit realm. We got to stop looking for temporal things first. I'm not saying that you can't have temporal things. It's just that we got to understand, we got to put our priorities back in order. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, then the things, right? Love the Lord thy God and none above him, right? So if I got to love God first, why am I seeking stuff first? Why do I go looking for the things instead of the righteousness? Why do I go looking for the right now instead of the righteousness? Does that make sense to everybody? Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because the Father has set his seal on him. You would have thought, after all this good teaching, after 5 signs, that the people would get it. You would think after 5 signs, that's the number of grace, he gave them 5 signs. And then he explains to them, don't look for temporal things. Don't just look for the signs, because the signs are temporary. Oh my God. Y'all ain't hear what I just said. Don't just look for the signs, because the signs are temporary. One more time. Don't just look for the signs, because the signs are temporary. When he turned the water into wine, that was for that wedding. Sign over. When he fed the 5,000, after they ate them fish and that bread, sign over. Once he healed that man was healed for the rest of his life. But that sign, over, temporal. Don't just look for the temporal things. He said, look, I done did 5 things. I hear the man, the paralyzed man. I hear the official son. I've done 5 signs. And I'm willing to say, I'm willing to think that some people might have been there for all 5. You know, the ones that latched on early on. Oh, he could turn water into wine. He know how to keep a party going. Let me. Because if he's serving wine, maybe he'll serve some bread and fish down the line. Let me stick around for the bread and the fish. 5 signs. 5 signs. And now he's taught them, he said, don't look for the food which perishes, but look to the one that's everlasting life. That's your text, right? Verse 30, the people ask him a question. They say, hey, Jesus, by what sign can we believe you? Hold on, wait a minute. Are y'all not here? Jesus sitting in front of this crowd like, did y'all not just hear what I just said? The people ask for another sign. And they say this, our ancestors, you might have just been in the crowd that ate the bread and the fish. But this same crowd say, our ancestors, they had bread from heaven. Now, y'all looking at them like, see, they just didn't appreciate God. You know what we do? The old church. I remember when the old church used to. We do the same thing. The old church used to. The old church used to have power. What's wrong with you, church? The old church had power. When you look in modern season to be talking about an old church. Church, where's your power? Where's my power? Is God not the same today, yesterday, and forevermore? Hello? He already prophesied that my sons and my daughters will prophesy. Where's my prophetic word? Are you hearing me? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. But our ancestors had bread from heaven. I want to give you a couple scriptures, and I'm out your way. Isaiah 51:1 says this, hearken to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord. Hold on. I want you to listen to me that follow after righteousness, that ye do what? Seek the Lord. 1 Timothy 6:11 says this, follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. That's what I want you to follow after. Things that are not temporal, things that are eternal. If any man, Luke 9:3, if any man will come after me, let him do what? Deny himself and take up his cross daily. Daily. You know what I'm saying? Saints of God, we ought to be God chasers. We ought to be God chasers for the following reasons. While we were yet sinners, Christ died for the ungodly. We ought to be God chasers because mercies are new every morning. We ought to be God chasers. These are the following reasons. We ought to be following after God and be God chasers because God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son that whoever would believe in him would not perish. So I'm not looking for something that's temporal. I'm looking for the thing which is eternal. They will not perish but have what? Everlasting life. You could quote it and we could quote it and still look for temporal things. I'm talking about primarily. It has its place, but I'm talking about primarily. Do you hear what I'm saying? Christ is the living water. Oh, I got a message that's just being prepared right now. And he says, if you would have knew who you were talking to, if we knew the God that we serve, we would stop sitting at the table just for a portion. We would stop doing that. Because he said, if you knew who you were sitting at this well with, young lady, then you would know that the one that you with, oh God, I got to give him a piece of it. You would know that the one that you with ain't even yours. You got to understand something. Apostle Hall said this earlier this week. She was saying that the woman, when you see a woman in the Bible, is a type and cast of the church. So the woman sitting at the well is really representing the church. And what God is telling her, he's telling the church. He's talking to the church at the woman of the well. And he says, the one that you with ain't yours. Never mind. I said, if you see that the woman sitting at the well is really the church, he's talking to her, all the ones that you've been with. I know that you think that they're yours, but they ain't even yours, because you're supposed to be mine. I'm supposed to be your husband. Never mind. You don't even realize who you talk to me. And if you would have asked me, I wouldn't give you something that you have to keep coming here lugging heavy stuff for. I would give you something that would quench your thirst. I would give you living water if you knew what you were talking to. But all you want to come here and get a cup. I'm not coming here to get a cup. I'm coming here to get the lid. He is the bread of life. So I will humble myself for the crumb. I will humble myself for the crumb. But I know. The thing about that story is this. Here we go again. A woman, you see her again? You see the church down there again, struggling, just looking for scraps. That's the church. Struggling, looking for scraps. He said, he's testing her faith. He says, you know, bread isn't meant for the dogs. And she said, true, master. What you're saying is absolutely accurate. Dogs shouldn't eat at your table. But even the dogs can eat the crumbs. And he said, oh my. I like to put this in there. Oh my God. Imagine Jesus saying that. Kind of funny to me. Oh my God. The faith that you have. He said, what you need, healing is provided. And if you understand all the gospel, you got to understand that she never got the crumb. Because healing is the children's bread. I said, she never got the... see, we've been trying to raise crumb snatchers instead of bread getters. I said bread winners. Let me say that again. We've been trying to raise crumb snatchers instead of bread winners. He's the prize. He's the prize. Somebody say, I'm the breadwinner. That's right. Put on your pants. I'm the breadwinner in this household. Oh, y'all got to hear what I'm saying to you. I hope you hear me by the Spirit. I'm the breadwinner. Raising crumb snatchers. Yes, you need to be humble enough to accept the crumbs. But understand that if you're humble enough, he said, if you be humble, if you be abased, I'll raise you up. Do you understand that? But she got the bread. Say she got the bread. She got the bread because she got the healing. Am I right about it? She got the healing. So Christ is the living water. He's the bread of life. And then, because, you know, we got to have a full meal. If you're going to have a full meal, you got to have your wine, your bread, and, you know, you got to have a little lamb with your bread, because this is feast time. Never mind. You got to have a little. So he's the Lamb of God. So when I come for the Lamb of God, I'm looking for the sacrificial element of God. And this is the thing about God. He said, look, my lamb, he only had to sacrifice once. All the other priests that you ran to, they had to sacrifice daily sacrifice. Double sacrifice on Sabbath, and multiple sacrifice on the feast. But he said, I went in and took care of it once for all, because when I do it, it is finished. New mercies. New mercies. Here's the thing. By his stripes, we are what? We follow the Son of Man, because God the Father has set his seal on him. That's my following reason. Why are you following God? The following reasons. Some of you can say, because I know who I used to be before he found me. I know what I used to do until he changed me. I know how I used to think before he transformed me. I know where I used to go before he redirected me. When I stopped leaning to my own understanding and I started acknowledging him in all of my ways, then he did what? He directed my paths. You know why he directed your path? For the following reasons. Somebody say the following reasons. I'm not looking to God for minuscule temporal things. If I need him, yeah, you can pray for God. God can do whatever he needs to do in your life. But I'm telling you what should be primary, what should take precedence in our life. What should be our priority? God, and God all by himself. If anybody just want to say, God, is you alone. Yahweh, is you alone. I'm a God chaser because you love me before I can love myself. You sacrificed just so I could have an opportunity. I ain't never leaving that one alone. You sacrificed just so I could have, you took a chance on me. Stop putting your temporal needs ahead of your eternal soul for the following reasons. Give God praise all over this place.